This is my entry for this week's DreamSnap, Frosty Fairy Realm. So for this one, I really wanted to do a split shot, as I really wanted to use the new fairy items, and thought it would be fun to have a garden versus frozen vibe. And since it said we were being welcomed into the frozen realm, I figured I had a little leeway to make the area my character was coming from. So I started by grabbing some of the Pixie Acres items, and trying to get the basic layout. Grabbed some icy alpine trees. I really wish we had some more trees and bushes that looked like this one. Added some white blossom trees, and some snowy ranch trees. Grabbed a snowy mountain tree, and added a few giant blue mushrooms to add fairy vibe to that side. I liked the frozen willows, so I added a few. Grabbed the winter crystal swing to kind of mirror the swing on the other side. Adding a winter crystal gazebo to the back, scooting some things around to fit better, trying to figure out where I wanted the swing, adjusting the trees a bit, adjusting the garden side to better match, scattering in some large winter crystals, and some large spiky crystals, then adding some small ones. I liked the winter crystal lamppost and thought it would be fun to have it by my character back to back with the artisan firefly lamppost. I wanted to get that a little further back, but it wouldn't let me, so I pulled the other one closer. I wished they were a little closer in size, though I thought it still looked cool. I liked the ladybug blossoms, so I added it behind. I grabbed the large sunflowers, shifted some things around to try and get them in closer, added another ladybug blossom and scooted it closer, and went looking for a nice big green tree to fill in and cover up the winter look on that side, and grabbed the swamp willow tree, since it kind of mirrored the icy willow on the other side, and figured it was time to cover up all the snow on the garden side, so I grabbed the mud path and filled it in, trying to get it in under everything on that side, pulling it out a little more to cover the foreground. Since the snow was showing through the tall grass, I wanted to find something to hide it. I liked the Pixie Acres mossy snail, and it was taller than the table, so I swapped it in. Scooted the light back a bit, to be less blocking. Added some giant decorative gooseberries, as I thought it looked cool, and added to the garden vibe. Added some flower petals, and some golden felt cap mushrooms. I liked the giant feather carpet, so I added it by the swing. And I wanted to get more green in, so I grabbed the leaf pile rug. Got rid of the flower petals, to better fit in the rugs, as I felt like it was more important to get more green in, and could always add the flower petals back later. I didn't like that the rugs had snow under them, but couldn't really do anything about it. Tried to get the camera at a better angle. Added the snowy brick road to the other side. I mostly wanted to create a path leading to the back and a little bit under the swing. Widening it a little, filling in the back. Added some orange butterflies to the garden side, and some blue ones to the frozen side. Added a rainbow for a splash of color, and some water lilies, as I thought they looked pretty. Added the fairy harp. I liked that it matched, and thought it fit with the harp in the back on the other side. Adding some winter holiday bushes, and some winter holiday trees. Debated the magical flurry cloud, but didn't want the lights on it, so I grabbed the permafrost cloud instead. I was hoping to get some snowflakes on that side. Grabbing a bubble, to put a miniature sun in on the garden side. Or I thought I did, but it didn't go down, so I had to grab it again. Scooting it a bit. Filling in a little more snowy bricks, as my character is supposed to be stepping into the frozen area, so being a little more frozen and a little less garden would make sense. Still too much snow showing on the garden side, so looking for some grass to fill in, and got distracted by adding some stone clusters instead. Adding some to the frozen side as well. Back to filling in the tall grass. And since I knew I wanted to have Tinkerbell in the shot, I grabbed the Vizier's alchemy table to push the camera forward, so I could get the camera closer to her. Pushing Tink into place. I also thought it would be fun to have two horses, one frozen themed and one garden themed. Not sure of the exact placements, but I will be adding the other horse on the garden side later. And I definitely need to fill in more grass on that side, so trying to squeeze more in. But most don't want to fit. Got one in, and trying to fill in more with the leaf rugs, but those don't want to fit in either. So, adding some thin cypress trees instead, squeezing them in where I can to block off as much of the white as possible. And I really wanted to add the snail shell horn, but it didn't want to fit, so I put it off to the side to make room for it behind the swing. But it felt like it blended in too much there. I tried moving the mossy snail over, but it didn't fit. So I tried moving things around a bit, but that didn't really help. I tried putting it in the front, but it didn't want to fit there either. Dropping some items I thought would be fun to add, scooting them out of the way, adding some acorns and pine cones, scattering in a bunch of moss, and some Vitaly crystals, adding in some ice, and some snowballs, more acorns, and some tropical wood, scattering in some pixie dust, adding some crystals to the other side, and looking for some more winter-themed items, as I was starting to feel like that side needed something. Considered the enchanted ice fountain, but it didn't really fit. I liked the ice fountain, but it didn't really fit either. So I moved the harp out of the way to see if I liked it better, but it didn't fit under the gazebo. Neither did the enchanted one. So I tried placing the icy fountain behind the gazebo to see how that looks. I can only see the one fountain, but I kinda like it there. Though I want to bring the pathing out further to go under it. Better, but I want to bring it out a little more. So, trying to extend it out, and moving the harp back. And I thought it would be fun to add some icy pillars to create a bit of a wall. So, stacking them up, bringing the path out to them, scooting the pillars a little, and filling in the empty spot. The fountain's not centered, so scooting some things to center it, and mirroring the spiky crystals behind it. Better, but the harp is feeling blocking now, so I want to try moving it. Scooting it next to the fountain, and mirroring it. Can't really see the harps that well, but I like being able to see the fountain. Adding some more ice, and some more crystals. Some more moss, checking how that's looking. And Tinkerbell got pushed, moving her back. Trying again. A little too close. Don't push, Tink. Putting her back. And adjusting the positioning of the miniature sun. Scooting the cloud since I wasn't getting any of the snowflakes. Tink's not in the right spot. Getting rid of the skunk so it doesn't push her. Getting her back into place. Trying to move the harp, but the butterflies don't want to let me. Moving them aside so I can grab it. Adjusting the pixie dust behind it. Putting the butterflies back, and scooting the cloud a little more. Too close. Adjusting Tink. Better. But I wanted to try adding some more pixie dust and moss to the foreground. Scooting the pixie dust and adding more moss, a little more pixie dust, and trying to adjust the ice. But it didn't want to fit where I wanted it. Scooting some rocks to fit it there instead. Turning on the lights, checking how that's looking. I can't really see the moss, so adding more. Checking if that helped. Not really. Adding more. Better, but I want to scoot the miniature sun closer to the front, as it's starting to feel a bit too far back. And I want to add the other horse to that side. And getting it into place. Checking how that's looking. I like that. Getting Tink back into place. Adjusting the cloud again to see if I can get some snowflakes in the shot. Tink's not in the right spot, but at least I'm getting some snowflakes now. But I want to adjust the garden horse's position a bit. They feel a bit too far over. A little better, but I want to adjust it a little more. Better. And I kind of want to add some critters, so adding a critter house to put them in. First I want to add a squirrel. Now I'm going to use a glitch to freeze them where I want them. I just have to try and catch them in a good spot. Sadly, I believe this glitch is only usable on PC. But to do it, just pet them and go immediately into furniture mode. Checking if that's a good spot. And I like it. I also like the idea of adding a yellow bee on this side, so switching to a different one for my pose. And adding it to the critter house. Waiting for it to come closer. I didn't mind the idea of it being behind the swing, but I couldn't get back there to try and freeze it. And why can't I pet it? Okay, well, since I can't freeze it, I'll just block it behind the swing. Adding another critter house for some critters on the frozen side, and adding the Winter Fairy unicorn. Waiting for it to come over. Checking if that's a good spot. A little too far back. Petting him to unfreeze him. Moving the critter house since they gravitate towards it, and I want him closer to the other side. Getting into a better spot to freeze him. Moving the critter house back to try and catch him as he runs to it. Wasn't close enough. Trying again. I didn't want to pick that up, we'll have to put it back later. Checking if that's a better spot. Yeah, that's better. Scooting the critter house further from the shot, adjusting the horse's position, getting Tink back into place, putting the moss back, checking how that's looking. I like that, but Tink's facing the wrong way. Talking to her to turn her. Not in the right spot. Still too far over. And getting her back into the right spot was not easy. I liked that, but the squirrel was starting to feel a little too far back, and I kinda wanted him closer to the acorns. So, unfreezing him. Moving the critter house to try and get him where I want him. Petting him. Moving the critter house back. Getting Tink back into place. Checking how that's looking. I liked that, but I forgot to add my tags. So, adding them now. Checking if they're visible. A few popping through the cracks, but not really that seeable unless you're really looking for them. But where's the bee? Behind the horse. Okay, gonna try to add some lily pads to push him over. Adding one at a time, so I pushed him into the closest empty spot. Checking if that helped. A little, but I still want to push it a little further over. Getting Tink back into place. That's feeling better, but I'd like Tink closer, and I want to add more butterflies. So, scooting Tink and adding more butterflies. Checking how that looks. Better, and I really did like that shot, but after sitting on it for a bit, I decided I wanted to make some changes. So, I booted it back up and refroze the critters, though this time I used Pegasus instead of the white horse, and put the Winter Fairy unicorn closer to the swing. So the main thing I wanted to fix was to add more snow to the frozen side, so adding one of the Icy Mountain River pieces to the foreground. And tried to add more snowballs, but it really didn't want to let me grab one. Added a few, added a little more ice, and I thought it would be fun to add the Frosty Rabbit. Getting into a better spot, moving the critter house, and trying to see a white and blue critter when surrounded by white and blue is not easy. Missed him again. Tried to catch him, but realized that's not a good spot for him. And accidentally pet and freed the unicorn. Quickly refreezing him. Moving the critter house again. Getting into a better spot. Trying again. And I don't recommend trying to do this when surrounded by items you don't want to pick up. Checking how that looks. Better. I like the added snowballs, though the river isn't seeable, so I need to scoot it. Getting rid of some moss so I can get rid of the river piece, if it'll let me click it. Finally got it. I also thought it would be fun to add a rabbit leaf pile for some wind effects on the frozen side. I also kinda wanted to add a raccoon to the garden side. And the raccoon decided to go the long way around and avoid me. Trying again. Got him. Moving the house aside. Getting Tink back into place. Again. She's too far over, but I like all the critters. Though I want to scoot the river over a little to get more snow in the shot. And I want to adjust the leaf pile a little. Picking up the river piece and trying a smaller one that I can add a couple of. And reluctantly unfreezing the squirrel, as I preferred him on the mud. Moving the house to lure him past me. Got him. Checking if that's a good spot. That's feeling better. Moving the critter house out of the way. And again, getting Tink back into place. I'm pretty happy with that. Now to get the shot with hopefully some wind and no one blinking. And I like that. The wind's a little fainter than I had wanted, and there's no snowflakes, but I'm pretty happy with it. If you're curious, this snap took nearly 3 hours to do. Thank you for watching the video. Please like it if you found it at all helpful, and subscribe if you want to see more like this.